We start with the urgent race to save hundreds of people sinking into the ocean. It began as a slow-motion tragedy, a giant ferry boat taking on water in the ocean off South Korea. The images of passengers trapped on board haunting. And tonight we're watching the amazing rescues and reading desperate text messages from the students on board to their families on dry land. And ABC's Gloria Riviera has the latest in this drama for us tonight.
A desperate rescue mission. First responders struggling to reach the massive ferry on its side and sinking fast. Plucking passengers, many of them teenagers, off the deck, now vertical, clutching railings to keep their footing. Piling into rescue boats. It was very intense, this man says. The ship was tilted more than 45 degrees. Helicopters dropping first responders onto the sinking boat. This woman clinging to a balcony railing, grabbing hold of a rescuer's hand. Lifting people to safety one by one from the deck. And from frigid 50-degree water, watch as this life raft is thrown to survivors floating 12 miles from land in the middle of the sea. The ferry was sailing to a southern resort island, most of the passengers high school students on a class trip. Nearing the end of the journey, survivors say they heard a thud and the boat began to turn on its side. On the upper decks, the cabins where most of the 500 passengers were staying. But one floor below, the crowded cafeteria and game room, where many are thought to have been trapped. And tonight, questions about whether those passengers were told to wait for help rather than trying to get out. The announcement told us that we should stay still, this boy said, but the ship was already sinking. It took just 2 hours for the boat to go from this to this, sinking in 90-foot seas. On shore, we found hundreds of angry, frantic families. Korean news station MBC reporting some parents had received texts from their children. "Dad, I can't walk out," wrote one girl. "The corridor is full of kids, and it's too tilted." From another student, "Mom, I might not be able to tell you in person, I love you." The mother's response, "Me too, son, I love you." Tonight, those parents scanning a handwritten list of the survivors, searching for their children's names. Diane, so many parents lost in their anguish. The latest numbers are at least 6 dead, more than 200 still missing as the search gets underway on its second day.
Thank you so much, Gloria, reporting in from Seoul, Korea tonight. And so many people here at home watching that large boat sink were asking, what could you do to survive in that situation? Could you swim away from a sinking ship? ABC's David Curley now with a survival guide.
It took just those 2 hours for the 20-year-old car ferry to all but disappear. Why?
When you first saw these pictures, what struck you?
Captain Paul Roden is the former chief naval engineer for the Coast Guard.
I suspected that the ship had damage on the port side, the left-hand side of the ship, and that caused flooding, which caused the ship to heel over.
Even a massive ship can sink frighteningly fast. This freighter, flooded on purpose, went down within moments. In 1991, the Oceanos cruise ship was sinking for a day, but ABC News was there for its final few moments. If survivors are in the water, a large, quickly sinking ship can suck them under the water, forcing them to fight back to the surface. Off South Korea, the Sewol was reportedly in a rocky area. If it struck a rock and breached its hull, water could start pouring in from one compartment to another, tipping the vessel, then its stern sinking. Soon, only the tip of the bow visible, the ferry upside down in the water. It's the water rushing into the ship with incredible force that makes escape nearly impossible. If they jumped, it was 25 feet from the upper deck into the chilly waters.
You really wouldn't want to jump unless you knew it was going to sink or you had a place to go in the water, life rafts.
Some made that leap, many others may not have. David Curley, ABC News, Washington.